What is the possibility that someone would get into a brawl over a parking spot? But it happens. And the craziest story this week, ladies and gentlemen, a young woman, college student, apparently got into a brawl over a parking spot, and she was attacked by 3 people. They were all part of the same family. Let's get into this story, ladies and gents.
An argument over a parking spot in Queens turns violent. A resident in the Ridgewood neighborhood says one of her neighbors used a garbage can to try and save a parking spot on the street.
And when she couldn't find anywhere else to park and tried to move it, words were exchanged and fists started flying. And residents...
I'm sorry, the way they cover this is kind of funny. Words were exchanged and fists started flying. It's kind of funny. There are 3 people fighting this woman. There are 3 on 1. Everybody see? Let me see if I can bring it back here so you can see it. 1, 2, 3. And then someone's just chilling on the steps. 3 against 1.
To park and tried to move it, words were exchanged and fists started flying. And residents who live in the area say that this brawl was years in the making.
Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore spoke exclusively with the woman who was attacked.
I couldn't tell that I was getting hit in the head and everything. I was just trying to.
That's a man. So you see a man attacking a woman. Again, over a parking spot.
Defend myself at the time.
Cell phone video shows 21-year-old Jada McPherson taking blow after blow.
It just all happened so fast. Her agenda was to pull my head. That was their main agenda. Like it's 3 against 1, and I'm like 130 pounds barely.
The fight started over an issue New Yorkers know all too well.
Parking is like hard to find.
McPherson said she was returning home from work when she was trying to park her car on Putnam Avenue near Onderdonk Avenue in Ridgewood, Queens, Monday evening.
The guy, he came and put a garbage can behind my car to like prevent me to park. I circled the block like 3-4 times. I can't.
Pause. Let me explain the trash can thing, because some people who may not live in up the Northeast in these cities may not understand. So what happens here in Boston too? Now, technically by law, if you're not paying for a parking spot on the street, or if there are no parking spots that you can actually buy or purchase on the street, you do not own that spot. That's the law. However, there's such things called neighborhood code. And even here in Boston, Cambridge, and Somerville, this happens during the winter. Now, I was surprised this happened during the summer. We'll get to what this is really all about at the end. But in Boston during the winter, especially when it snows, when people shovel out their spots, they would put something in place to hold that spot via trash can, right? The trash can, some people use a chair, and you guys think it's a joke. It's not a joke. When I first moved to Boston years ago, I was like, did someone just put like a trash can in that spot to hold that parking spot? Is that a chair? Is that a table on the street in a parking spot to hold that spot? Let me tell you something. Move that furniture if you want to. And don't be surprised if when you come back, someone has knifed your tires, or if they catch you doing it, they beat your ass. So this was new to me when I first moved here. I was like, dude, you don't own the street. But it's a city code thing. It's kind of neighborhood code that since they shoveled out their spot, it belongs to them. And if you break code, people might throw some hands. Now, again, is that the law? No, it's not. You don't own it. You don't own it. So some people saw this story and they were like, oh my God, people got into a fight over a parking lot, a parking space. It happens. And for those of us, if you've lived down south like I have, where parking spaces are more plentiful and you don't have to deal with this, you may not see this probably, but it happens up here and people get vicious with it. Let's continue.
Came back and I'm like, it's been like 30 minutes and you're still here.
A verbal altercation with the man and two other women police identified as Andrea Dumitru and Sabrina Starman.
I'm not gonna lie, I called her an immigrant, but she called me a slave and she called me a monkey.
Of course, it had to resort to that. And then in come the racial names, right? So you see this? She says she was called a slave. The other party says that they were called a immigrant. They calling people monkeys, all this kind of stuff, all over a parking spot.
Quickly turned violent. Medics treated McPherson at the scene and arrested Dumitru and Starman. Neighbors say they are family.
Again, is that a man? Right here. I believe that is a guy who is hitting her, who hit her in her back. Let me know if I'm wrong. I thought that was the guy who hit her in her back.
And there have been issues with them holding parking spots for years.
It's not worth fighting. But across the street, get the garbage cans there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Red said the person that is hitting her is transgender. Okay, sorry. Thank you for that.
Trying to hold the spot. He sits there monitoring it, and that's what happened.
I just heard, I heard voices and looked out the window and saw arms flying. If you're coming home at rush hour, it can take like up to an hour to find parking.
McPherson says she's ready to put this tragedy behind her.
Do you guys see this? So first of all, again, we do not promote violence on this show. 2, why is it 3 against 1? Why? Woo, man.
And has even found a lesson through it all.
It gives you a different look at life. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, certain things, you just have to like let it be.
Police have charged 45-year-old Andrea Dumitru and 21-year-old Sabrina Starman with assault. Authorities are still looking for a third individual. In Ridgewood, Queens, Crystal Cranmore, Channel 7.
Okay, people are saying it's 2 men and 1 woman on that girl. I thought it was a guy, but I don't know. The thing is, regardless, it was 3 against 1. I want to go into this one here because the residents in that neighborhood also had something to say.
That fight started after a woman tried to park in a spot that was blocked off by trash cans, and it ended in 2 arrests.
All right, Fox 5's Richard G. Covis is in Ridgewood, Queens tonight with more on what happened.
Even in the middle of the day during a busy work week, there are no parking spots to be had along this stretch of Putnam Avenue in Ridgewood, Queens. And this week, the fight to nab one of those coveted spots got just as hot as the summer heat.
I've literally burnt a quarter of a tank driving around this neighborhood at night. Comes 5 o'clock, forget about parking here.
Cell phone video.
You know why? Let me tell you something to what this guy just said. He said, forget about parking here after a certain time. What happens, and I've dealt with it living in the city myself, people park their cars and a lot of times they keep them there and it doesn't move. I've dealt with this. Whereas like, especially when we lived over in, actually Cambridge wasn't too bad. Boston was. Especially like in Boston, like if you did not return home by a certain time looking for a parking spot, forget it. Forget it. There have been times where people had to park like 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks over because, again, a lot of times people will park and they won't move that car for days. So.
Cell phone video from Monday night shows a woman standing in the middle of the street asking if she could park her car into a spot that appears to be blocked off by garbage cans.
You drive by and see trash cans in the street. That's not right. It's not fair.
Police tell us that a 21-year-old woman got into a heated argument over a parking spot outside 18-28 Putnam Avenue with several people standing on the sidewalk. In the video, less than 30 seconds, the person in the white T-shirt lunges at the woman.
So the reason why I wanted you to see this is because the woman who was trying to park in the parking spot did not throw the first blow, as you can tell. So she was attacked. And she's asking if she could park there. Now, yeah, they called each other names and went back and forth and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is she didn't. It's not like she said, can I park here? No, pow. It's not like she did that. That's why the video matters.
Another person pounces, and soon it's 3 against 1. Cops say the victim was punched multiple times in the face and body, causing her substantial pain. Video shows that woman dressed in all black on the ground getting slapped, all because neighbors say this mother-daughter duo was saving a parking spot. Like one man describes it, it's every person for themselves in this part of town, at least when it comes to getting a spot.
Yeah, it's hooray for me and screw you. That's just the way it is.
After a few minutes, police arrive and arrest the mom, and witnesses say the woman who was fighting for the spot eventually won it, but had to endure a physical fight that neighbors say is not the solution.
Yeah, I thought they would have better, sense than that.
Police tell us that they arrested 2 women that night and charged both with assault. Meanwhile, the victim was treated at the scene by EMS and is still recovering. There's a local advocacy group, though, that says there's a bigger problem here, and it's this parking issue that's been plaguing this neighborhood for more than a decade, and they say something needs to be done about it. We're in Ridgewood, Queens. Richard Giacobas, Fox 5 News.
But nothing's going to be done about it, and let me tell you why. It's a supply and demand issue, right? So again, like I said, we have the same issue here in Boston. The demand is high, but the supply is low. There are very few spots, but there's a higher demand. Now, some people are asking, is New York City, why not just take public transportation? First of all, not everywhere in New York City is easily accessible by public transportation. That is something to keep in mind. Yes, they do have a subway system that for the most part is 24 hours, but depending on where you are in certain boroughs, that can change. So like, for example, there are certain parts of Queens that are not easily accessible by public transportation. I know this because I used to live in Brooklyn. I remember one time I had to go from Brooklyn to Queens. Jesus Christ, don't do that if you don't have a car. Don't do that if you don't have a car. Just don't do it. It's not easily accessible to get to, right? I think Astoria, some part of Astoria has like, a subway stop that you can access. But again, for the most part with Queens is big. So that's why if you go to Queens, you'll see more cars than in like Manhattan, etc. So I mean, it depends on where you are. So let's talk about the supply and demand. If you know, for one, that there aren't many parking spots, what's going to happen is it's going to become like a winner take all system, or like brutal. I don't know, kind of like Hunger Games and shit. So it's like people are hunting for a spot, and once they get one, you better not think about trying to take that spot from them. Now, I believe putting the trash can in the street to protect the spot, again, like I told you guys, is like a neighborhood code thing here in the winter when there is snow and you shoveled the car out of that spot. This is during the summer. There is no snow. You didn't shovel the car out of that spot. That was an open spot. She had every right to ask if she could park there. The point that I'm trying to make is this. This has been happening over a lot of these cities, particularly on the East Coast, Northeast here. They've been trying to remove more and more parking spots. They've been doing this in Boston. They've been doing it in Cambridge. I sat right there on Broadway in Cambridge while I watched them remove parking spots so they can insert a bike lane. They've been doing this for the past couple of years. So you are going to see less and less parking spots. And then it gets to the point where certain areas that you go to, if you want to park there, you're going to have to pay to park in the parking garage. You see what I'm saying? This is capitalism on steroids. This is what I was talking about. I've watched them for years. New York, Boston, Philly, this coming to you soon, if not yet. DC, they keep removing these parking spaces because they want to make these cities walkable and bikeable. That's why you keep seeing all these bike lanes pop up everywhere. That's not just for fun. They want less cars on the roads, more bikes, and more feet hitting the pavement. And that's what's happening, folks. So if you think the parking problem is an issue right now in Queens, it's going to get worse. But there's something else that goes along with the story. Apparently, the neighborhood is ready to stand up and fight for her. They are ready. Yes, they are ready. Let me see if I can pull up the picture here. Give me a second. They are ready to fight for her. And I want you guys to see this because they came back to that neighborhood. Not Jada. I believe her name was Jada McPherson. People came back to that neighborhood and decided to stand up to the family that jumped her in the middle of the street. Listen to this.
We are talking directly to you cowards who jumped one 21-year-old woman. We here now. We here now. We here to represent our people. And we here to let you know that if you call a black person a monkey and assault them, we will bring the entire zoo to your front door. Because this is what we are not having. We are not having. I don't care what neighborhood it is. I don't care where you're from. You will not attack a black woman. You will not allow 3 people to attack a black woman. All black people will show up. This ain't 1950s. This ain't Jim Crow. This is 2000 and motherfucking 25. And you will not attack black people and get away with it. And get away with it. Now the numbers is even. Come downstairs instead of recording us on your camera. Come downstairs. When people show up, to address the issue, you want to apologize. But what I saw the other day was
So, see, they jumped that girl, but obviously they're not going to stand up to this guy. And I'll show you what they did instead. They decided to contact the police. So they called the cops. Let me go ahead and bring this in here. When they showed up, they called the cops, right? So they picked on her 3 against 1, but they called the cops when the community showed up. People came up to stand up for her.
Don't listen. Y'all don't want this. This part right here that y'all watching, this is called no justice, no fucking peace. It ain't gotta be against the cops. We come across anybody. There's no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. We're not getting beat up by the cops. We're not gonna get beat up by y'all. We're not gonna get beat up by y'all.
Don't come over here. Don't see your sister. Hey, yo. Everybody with us. Do not explain nothing to the police. Do not talk to us. Exactly why we out. Do not talk to us. You don't have to answer that question.
A black woman with a gun on this street. They already know. Was assaulted by a family of 3.
Yeah, you see, you can't. Let tell you, don't get it twisted. You don't want to piss off the wrong person in New York, because let me tell you, the whole community showed up, right? Now the mother and the daughter are apologizing. Check this out, or saying something. Respond. Excuse me. I don't know if it's apologize. Mother and daughter respond to attacking black woman in Queens over a parking spot. So here we go. Here's the mother and the daughter. But there were 3 people who attacked her. Everybody, you guys saw the video. There were 3 people, but the mother and the daughter coming forward. And it says here, last week, a young black woman named Jada McPherson was the victim of violence and racial abuse, allegedly from neighbors Andrea Dumitru and her daughter, Sabrina Starman. Not this Sabrina. And it goes on to say here, I just want to show you what they said. Here we go. Within the first 3 minutes of the video, Dumitru is interrupted by a phone call and says, there's strangers online calling me and harassing me. I have hundreds of calls, death threatening me, telling me how they're going to kill us. I fear for my life. I haven't been sleeping since I got out of jail. So they're saying that they're getting threatened. Dumitru then claims that McPherson did not attempt to communicate with her. Dumitru states that when she came out of her house to ask what the issue was, McPherson kept repeating, "Shut up, B." She did not even give me the opportunity to say, "Take the parking." She kept degrading me, calling me white trash. Dumitru also claims that this went on for 45 minutes before the filmed fight took place and states that they were waiting for the police. Speaking about the violence, Dimitri says that she regrets it and that it wasn't the right thing to do. I regret that it was very wrong of me to do. It wasn't right. I regret it. She chose the violence. She provoked the situation. But you guys hit her first. I mean, am I imagining things here, ladies and gentlemen? Am I imagining this? It goes on to say, not only with us, but strangers that were trying to help out the situation before me and her, Dimitri, even got to that point, to that location. Starman also adds that she doesn't condone violence, but I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. I want to say that I apologize for approaching the way I did after being provoked. It's not the answer or solution to stop a situation, but people like me, okay, Starman is a transgender woman, have fought so much in this country, on this world. I've dealt with so much trauma in the past for being who I am as a person. Okay, and there are many people who have dealt with trauma, but you guys threw the first blow. The video doesn't show you that Jada coming after them physically. They came after her, and it was 3 against 1. So there are many people. Do we know what type of traumas that Jada may have suffered? No, you can't use that here. You guys threw the first punch. And they got mad. I guess they're scared now because people are threatening them. And then also the community stood up for Jada and went right back to that spot and said, no, you guys are not going to do that. First of all, shout out to the people who came to stand up for her and said, no, you are not going to attack that woman. Shout out to them. Because it don't always work that way. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes if you get attacked, people beat you up or whatever, sometimes you are on your own. So shout out to that. I'm telling you guys, it's crazy things. And I saw people talking about the story online and they were like, why would people fight over a parking spot? And I'm like, I've seen it happen. It happens. I've seen it happen. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.